Hi, I'm Dave Dejewski, and I'm out on Carrollton Manor Farm just outside of Frederick. And standing with me is Steve Gertmiller. Steve Gertmiller and his family have been farming this land for more than 14 years. We're here to find out a little bit about the farm and about a concept called community supported agriculture. In a minute, we're going to take a look at the farm, but before we do, let's meet Steve. Hey, Steve.
How are you doing today?
Good. What can you tell me about this community supported agriculture concept?
Well, the community supported agriculture is also known as CSAs, and basically was born out of the idea that some smaller farmers who couldn't compete with big factory farms and the large producers in California or Florida or Mexico or Chile or what have you, they developed the concept that they would go out to their local community and say, hey, we're here, we're your neighbors, and if you support us, then we can take some of the risk and be committed to what we're doing as far as growing local fresh produce and either delivering or having you pick up at our farm throughout the season. So it becomes sort of a membership oriented program, but it also allows people who join up to know where their produce is grown, to come to the farm and see it, and also allows the local farm wouldn't necessarily be able to go out and market in your community newspaper or flyers or what have you, and develops a relationship where they know that their customers are coming back to them.
So this is really a way for the local communities to support local farmers. We buy a share in the farm, and in exchange for that buy-in share, what does the community get out of it?
Well, number one, you're supporting a local farm and helping to preserve it. But primarily, it's an exchange for, in a full share situation, 8 to 10 different items provided weekly throughout a 20-week season, starting in the early part of June and running around mid-October would be the end of it. And it comprises different early seasonal items such as field greens, lettuces, kale, kohlrabi, broccoli and Brussels sprouts and spring onions and what have you, and then progresses throughout the season as warmer items or warmer weather items come available, such as green peppers and heirloom tomatoes, where we grow about 40 different varieties, and melons and sweet corn and all of the different later season items into your butternut squashes and what are called winter squashes and gourds in the fall.
So basically, it's whatever's in season at the time, and you've already started your planting. I see. What's all this behind us?
These are rows of plastic mulch, which are basically what we use to fight off weeds in the field in lieu of using herbicides. Beneath the plastic mulch is drip irrigation, so that we mitigate some of the risk as far as drought conditions, so that we are able to say we can provide to you throughout the season because we control our water supply. And some of the rows have already been planted. They're started early in our greenhouse here at the farm, as early as early February, excuse me. And we plant throughout the season. Our last plantings will occur in September.
So are any of your produce here that you grow locally on the farm, is any of this stuff genetically engineered?
No, not at all. We use organic seeds from companies such as Seed Savers and Tomato Fest out in California. None of it is genetically modified.
So who are some of your customers normally of the produce that you grow here on the farm?
Well, there are certain just individuals who come to the farm. There are communities that are organized to accept the produce through basically what we call a sponsor. We do a lot of large law firms in downtown Washington and Baltimore. We do some restaurants, Harris Teeter and Whole Foods Market.
So Whole Foods and Harris Teeter buy from your farm?
Yes.
And what's the restaurant?
Volt Restaurant in Frederick, which is run by Brian Voltaggio, who was on the Top Chef show on TV and has written a recent book, which is available at all the local stores. It's kind of an interesting story. He was just a great guy who started out here in Frederick and was trained under Charlie Palmer in Washington, D.C. and has won James Beard Awards and has really done a phenomenal job here in our community in Frederick and really brought a lot of notoriety to the area.
What can you tell us about the farm? There's interesting history, I understand, behind Carrollton Farms.
Yes, back in the 1700s, this was about a 17,000 acre estate that was owned by Charles Carroll, and when he signed it signed the Declaration of Independence. He signed Charles Carroll of Carrollton, and this is Carrollton, his land trust that he had. The house behind us was his granddaughter's house. Her name was Emily McTavish, and there's an old lime kiln that dates back to around 1800. The railroad, the original B&O railroad track, was run through here in order to service his original land grant and the produce that came off of that.
Well, this is great. Thanks for the introduction, Steve, and I look forward to getting out there and taking a look at the farm. Let's go check it out.